want to think about
but like the second one, like fans of the first one became like a big cult movie.
One of his friends.
Like emailed and like they ended up becoming like producers, like fans, because they just really wanted the second one to be made. And like I think fans of the second one pretty much made up the rest of the crew. Like the second one had a bigger budget, not much bigger, but
yeah,
they had more of like a crew and all that kind of stuff.
The second one was way worse than the first one.
The second one, well, like if you watch the extras, you kind of are led to believe that stuff that happened, because like the second one is about a movie being made, and when you watch the extras, it's kind of like
it's weird.
Like it's almost as if it's kind of based on him trying to make a movie, like the guy in real life the director trying to make a movie.
It was so weird because it's like he was like talking and he was like I would assume that when you pitch a movie you would have a script for it or have something, but apparently when he went to get investors, he's like, and that day when I sat down with the investors is when I got the idea for he was describing pretty much the first scene in the movie for when he got money from the investor, because what happens in the first scene is Rod shows up, the guy that made all this money and survived the first movie, spoiler, and he's like, he's turned into like the Miz, he's a total chotch now, because before he was just like, hey, I like mayonnaise on my sandwich, I'm a total white guy, and now he's just like, hey bro, you know what I mean, he's a total douchebag, and like a jerk, and like, so, he still can't act though, so he shows up, and this guy that's trying, I guess he's a director, but I couldn't tell. I thought he was a guy trying to.
Yeah, he was like portraying as like kind of like a creeper. Like he was like checking out the waitress's butt and stuff.
He's like, yeah, I'll put you in my rap like CD if you come back to my place. It's like
put in your rap CD. Huh?
I don't know what that meant.
I'll put you in my rap CD.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. You mean like a video?
Yeah, that's. Like the CD, you open it up and people get sucked into it.
Get in.
I'm like, yeah, I'm in the CD.
It's a rap CD. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so he's like, you know, he's telling all these chicks that they can be the lead. He's like, actually, you're so pretty, I think you could be the lead in my movie. And I'm like, okay, so like 10 minutes into this movie and this guy's already told like 3 chicks that like they should be the lead.
Blonde.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, this guy's a douchebag. And so Rod shows up, he's the investor, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you $1 million to make your movie. Okay, so...
Then he writes him a check right there for like $100,000.
Yeah, and he's like, you'll get the rest when the investors show up or something. And I was just like, isn't $1 million the money he needed? Like, what did he need the other money for? But the reason why I bring that up is because... what I was talking about with like the real director, he's like, yeah, I went to, and it was the same freaking place.
Yeah, the restaurant that he talked about.
Hollywood Dreams or whatever it's called, like.
Yeah, Happy Dreams.
Yeah, Hollywood consisted of happy endings or something like that, and like it's a restaurant, but it's really not. It's like a BW3s or something, and so like they sit down. Or, like, he's talking about how he's like, yeah, you know, that's where I got the idea. Or he didn't say he got the idea for it, but it's obvious that's what the intro was based off of.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what happens in the beginning of the freaking movie. And I was like, I thought he would have an entire script done. Not just... Because, like, when he was like... I got the inspiration for the sequel when I went to the La Brea Tar Pits. Yeah. And I was like, are you insane?
Maybe he had the base script and then he just added extra stuff later on. So that's probably what happened.
The professor shows up again and he's like...
And he's like in a tuxedo. He's like, I'm speaking at this convention.
Yeah.
About Global warming.
He's like, guess what, guys? Did you know that La Brea tar pits, when these birds went in here and died, they didn't just, not just their feathers and everything, but even their blood vessels and all kinds of stuff. And then, like, that sets it up for, like...
They were, like, preserved.
Right. He's like, anything that fell in there was 100% preserved, and, like, then, like, this red rain came down, and all these birds were, like shooting up, like...
But there was no splash. They were just, like...
And it was, like, a bazillion of them, like, every bird that was prehistorically...
Now they're eagles.
Well, yeah. They were eagle vultures.
Yeah.
And then 2 cavemen came out, too. But none of the mammoths that fell in there are saber-toothed tigers or T-Rexes or anything that had fallen in there.
T-Rexes?
Well, it's a tar pit. Tar pits have been around forever. Like, anything that fell in there would have came out.
And then that's how they made Jurassic World. They
got
them from the tar pits.
From Birdemic 2.
Yeah.
The shit returns.
It's a good movie.
And then the part where it just... Oh, God. The part where, like, for no reason, they're just, like, the next scene, it's, like, 3 topless women.
Well, because they talk about, in one of the beginning scenes, they're like,
that was so weird.
You gotta have babes and boobs in your movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then...
Oh, he's like, babes, boobs, and blood.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, that's not what this movie's about. And it's, like, the oldest guys in the movie that are the 2, like, business guys. And, like, one of them, he's like, But
yeah, and then like later on in the movie they have all 3 of those, which is kind of like funny.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Well, the weird thing is, like, even though he said he wasn't going to do that stuff, the guys were like, "We'll give you $1 million to make this movie," and they're like, and the one guy's like, "Yeah."
Oh, that was the first.
Yeah, the first one was the greatest clapping thing I've ever seen. Like. He's
you
like,
look it up on YouTube. Yeah. It's on there.
He's like, guys, everybody got, like, you know, we've been bought out so you get your stock options and whatever. And, like, he's like, the guy's like, they're clapping, and, like, the boss is like, you.
And, like, it's edited so bad that, like, everyone's clapping, and then there's, like, pause because they'd finished, but then they splice it together with clapping again.
It's like they couldn't even layer the audio from the previous scene to the next one.
I didn't know how to do that.
And, like, the guy's like, they're like, and they're like, and the one scene where, like, they're sitting there, and then the guy's like, like that.
All they saw was, like, the back. He's, like, humping a chair.
So, like, okay, so you're next, like, you're Rod, and I'm, like, his friend, and he's like, yeah, buddy, yeah! And, like, he was like, he did exactly that. Like, Rod was like,
The more we talk about it, the more I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I do too, kind of. It's a good movie. It's just...
It's like one that you get together, like, your friends, and you just start quoting it, and then you, like, talk about it, like, nonstop.
It's you make fun of it and stuff. There are certain movies I can't watch because they're just boring and stuff. But this one's a movie you can watch and make fun of it, and it's funny.
Yeah, I don't know enough people that have seen Birdemic, so everyone should watch it so we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
The first and second one.
And the third one.
Yeah, I looked up today to see if there was a third one, and there isn't.
Yeah. Kind of surprised.
I'm not yet, anyway.
I'm sure there will be. It was funny because he was like, I'm making this into a franchise as big as any
Saw.
other. Yeah, like Saw, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it couldn't be any worse than the last, like, 8. Oh, God. So, how many feathers out of 10 would you give Birdemic 1?
Oh, it's definitely a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10. It's
one of my favorite movies.
It's a baker's dozen. Actually, what's a baker's dozen? That's
13.
13, so it's got 3 more feathers. Yeah. I'd give it 10 as well. It was funny. It was a funny movie. I probably wouldn't give the second one as many feathers because it wasn't as funny, but it was still a good movie.
I give it like a 9.5. Like, it's definitely not as good as the first one, but it's still like
there was
the
just
package deal. Yeah. You have to, if you watch the first one, you have to watch the second one.
There were a lot of things that, like, once they got to the birds coming out that they reused from the first one that I was kind of like, this is kind of boring, but like it weirdly enough, before the birds attacked in the second one, it was actually pretty funny with like just how bad, and like the director was so enthusiastic, like as far as like the fake director, like
and there was like a green screen in front of like when they're in a car, and like the green screen is just so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, and then what was it? In the interviews, like behind the scenes, like that guy was the only guy that actually really was more into it than the director.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I got this job and all this kind of stuff. Are you talking about the actor?
Yeah, the actor that played the director. He was like, yeah, this is this movie's awesome, and like the other guy, like Todd or Rod or whatever, was like, yeah, this piece of shit called me back to make this movie. I don't think I really wanted to do it, but. Last time it was really hard working with him, and there was no food, and he sounded like a big whiner. I was just like, I don't know, man. Why did you come back then? Like,
well, he said because for some reason.
Well, he was like, because they got more money and they got or they got more crew, and I was just like, so they gave you more money and fed you. What was I wish so-and-so could be here, but she got sick. She got a disease from that fish that Rod cooked.
Rod cooked a fish at the end of the first one, and apparently someone died. That's why they didn't come back in the second one.
Yeah, like, it's...
Not really in real life.
It was so funny because it was like, they probably didn't even have to say anything about her and nobody would have given a shit, but it was like, they cared so much about that character that, like, even though she couldn't make it back for the sequel...
I would have, if I would have just seen the boy, I'm like, where's the girl at? Like, what happened to her?
Right, but, like, most people just passing by would be like, what the fuck? Who...
And there's, like, this dramatic part where the kid looks right at the camera, and it's like...
It's so out of place!
I wish Susie were still alive to see this.
Yeah.
She got a disease from that fish.
I wish Susie was alive. I wish Susie was here to see these birds. She would love this. She got a disease, though, from that fish that Rod cooked. It's like...
Mike had to rewind that part.
I was like, huh? Like, the only part of exposition... It's like even... Okay, so there's a part in the movie where they're like... Moon Bay, there was an attack. Half Moon Bay, there was an attack. And they look at each other, but they never tell their friends that they were there and survived that attack. So the only thing that's ever acknowledged is the part where the kid talks about his sister dying from a fish that his adopted father cooked that killed her because she got a disease.
The birds don't kill you, the disease.
Yeah, like, why was that even necessary? And I'm like, how are they all alive? He cooked the fish by just boiling it whole with seaweed. Like, he just threw it in there, didn't gut it, didn't anything. She must have ate all the, like, nasty parts.
She ate the poop.
Yeah. He's like... I was gonna do it, and then I started laughing. It was so ridiculous. He was like...
Just do it later.
Is he like? He looks up like that, doesn't he? It's a weird. It's like he does. He's like. It's like he's looking over. Somebody over here, and he's like.
Mom or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like. What's her name again? Mary or something? Or
Natalie.
Natalie. I wish Natalie was here to see
this.
Susie.
Or
Susie.
He was talking to Natalie.
Oh, that's right. He's like, and then he's like out of nowhere. He's just like. I wish Susie was here to see this. But she got a disease from a fish that Rod cooked. So ridiculous. Like, what?
Oh, man.
That's probably my favorite part of both of the movies, honestly, because it's so off the wall. It's like, like the whole movie is out of control as far as like birds attacking and all this other stuff. But it's like the only true like serious part of the movie, and it's just, well, besides the kids, when the kids show up and like. Their parents are killed, and they're like, they never cry about it.
Oh,
like,
there's also the part in the first one where they before they meet the kids are like, hey, there's a bunch of dead people over there. Let's pull over and see if there's any survivors.
Yeah, and I was like,
they find like the one kid's in the trunk.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like,
one kid's pinned under the car.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, like, oh, well, I guess there was crying because, like, the girl's like, the birds killed my mom and grandmother. And, like, she won't come out from under the car. And then, like, the other, the boy is, like, the dad or grandpa or whatever is, like, dead next to the other car. And honestly, I don't know if they were actually related or not because they were, you know, like...
They were pulled over. Meanwhile, like, in the faraway shot, you see cars driving by.
Yeah, it's like anybody could have stopped. There was no birds attacking because obviously there's no pandemic there. And, like, so they're, I was just like, what is... And, like... He's like, I'm going to save my kid by locking him in this trunk where he probably would just die if no one else came along.
Right.
It's like, okay. And there's never, like, at the end of both movies, there's never any reason for why the birds just leave.
Well, the first one, he talked about in the extras, you didn't watch that, but, like, the white birds were actually, like, doves, and they symbolize, like, peace, and they, like, took the birds away. I don't know about the second one, though. The second one, the birds went away when the Asian guy died.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. I was like, so were they just after that guy the whole time, or... Yeah. There was a lot of, like, cryptic stuff in that movie. I mean, not that I was really supposed to be, like...
I'm sure it made sense to the guy, but it just didn't translate well to the screen.
Well, there was parts about, like... That's why you can tell, like, a movie, like... I mean, just storytelling-wise was bad, because the actual, like, movie was funny and stuff, but, like, storytelling was bad, because if you can't watch it and understand what's going on as far as story goes, it's like, what chance, you know what I mean, does anybody else have? Like, it was funny, because, like you said, half the stuff, I didn't know, like, what it was about until I watched some, like, the extra, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, and I was like, I didn't know that was what that was supposed to be, right. Like, okay. Like, you know, how am I supposed to know that when you don't come out and say it because your storytelling is shit? The part where, here's your seat.
And then, like...
I will seat you now.
She's like...
Yeah!
And in the second one, she kind of does it, too. She's like...
Yeah. And then, like, the person follows, and then it's like, what? She doesn't even say anything. She's just like...
I'm watching now.
Oh no! Birdemic, you'll get caught up in the Birdemic.
Go watch Birdemic. I'm going to sleep now.
Yeah.
I'm tired, it's late.
Cough! Yeah. It's a bird.
It's an eagle.
It's a plane. It's a plane. It's an eagle. Eagle-demic.
There's one part where they, like, patch up the little girl because she's, like, beaten up. And she's like, thank you. Thanks. And it's, like, so awkward. Like,
yeah.
You can tell they probably meant to, like...
I think the boy does that, too, or whatever. Like, yeah, when they're in the back, they're like,
that's right.
Thanks. Thank you. It's like...
They probably
wow, you can't act worth shit.
Yeah, the acting is so bad.
We don't want that. We want Happy Meals.
Yeah. That was, like, the one, like, realistic part of the whole movie was that they were making, like, the seaweed and, like, fish dinner or whatever. And
I guess she should have had the Happy Meal.
As soon as they made it, the kids were like, I want a Happy Meal. I want to eat this.
They're like, she'll be the guinea pig. And she's like, I got a disease. It's like,
Like, there's so many things that don't make sense. There's, like, birds attacking, but, like, they calmly walk around outside and have, like, a picnic on the beach. And it's like...
Yeah, like, he caught this fish, and then they cooked it, and, like, then the birds attacked. Maybe that's why they left at the end. Like, one of them ate the fish and was like, I'm out. They all got away.
They all had diarrhea.
Yeah. They're like, oh, man, that bird had... that fish had diseases. And then she's like, I don't even know what that means, a disease. She's got a disease. Oh, well.
Got worms. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she had worms.
And she just never went to the hospital?
I got to her. She was a little kid. There's maybe not a hospital in the
The entire world.
So there's a hospital in the zombie apocalypse, so I guess there might be a hospital in the Birdemic.
Well, apparently they were the only people being attacked besides a couple other people because there were, like, people on the highway just driving around.
People driving by that were unintentionally in the shot. And then in the second one, they were filming around something. They were, like, blurred out everybody's faces because clearly they didn't get their permission to be on camera.
Yeah, it was like they were the only two people that weren't, like, weird faces. Like, everybody else was, like, walking around, like... like
John Cena?
Yeah, like, blur. They were all, like, blurred faces, and I was like, this is weird. And then there was a part in the second one where I was like, oh, they're blurring out all the product placement. And then, like, they just straight up showed a Coors Light thing. I was like, oh, Oars LI. Okay, you know, they're just going to pan... Oh, no, they panned over and showed the entire thing. As they panned down, they were like, Coors Light. And I was like, did they not get sued for that?
Nobody saw the movies. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that no one at Coors Light ever...
Yeah.
I bet if I emailed them, they'd probably be like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, like, what movie is it?
Yeah, it's like, who gives a shit?
I care. It's not like that movie.
Well, they wouldn't give a shit. Because they probably wouldn't make any money from suing them.
Good night. Good luck.
Good night. Night. Say a little special treat for everybody. Oh, God, not again.